So we're going to have a look at how to make your own interactive Google slide. I've got a blank Google slide presentation ready to go. And the first thing you need to do is actually decide what you want your background to be. So it might be that you've already got a PDF that you want to use, or you've got a you've created something yourself. And this essentially is going to be what stays on the background of your slide so that it can't be touched by anybody when they're interacting with it. So this is a Word doc that I've already created, ready to use as my background. But as I said, it could be anything that you've got already, or a picture, or whatever you want to do. So the first thing I want to do now is to make this as a PDF or as a picture. So I'm going to use my snippet tool here and create a snip of that. So that's what I want to use. And I'm going to save this now. Let's call it background or number of the day. Oh, number of the day. There we go. All right, number of the day practice. That's what we're going to be using. So now let's go and put it into the Google slide. So if I go back now to the Google slide, here it is. The first thing I'm going to do now is import that background. So I've gone up to this background tab and I'm going to choose my image. So find the image that you've just created by browsing in your own drive. And there it is, number of the day practice. That's the one that I'm going to be using. So just wait for that to upload and it's done. So there it is now. Now at the moment it looks all a bit strange, it looks a bit stretched and so on. So I do want to change the page setup of my Google Slides. I don't want widescreen, I just want my standard page setup. There, it looks a bit better now. Okay, so that's going to be my background. It doesn't matter what the children do, nothing can be changed. They can't move these things around. So now I'm going to add the interactive parts. The first one is about dragging the arrow to show the number on the number line. So I'm going to now insert an arrow. Here we go. I'm going to have it that looks like that. And I want to make that red. So we're just going to make that a red arrow. There we are. So now they can drag that when they come to use this mat. All right, so we'll just leave that hanging there. I also want them to think about whether the number is odd or even. I've asked them to circle it. So let's give them a circle that they can use to do that. So here we are, shapes. Let's find a circle. All right. And again, I want that to be not red in the middle, but I do want the outside of that to be red, the line. And I'll have it quite thick so it's clear what it is. There we are. So now when they come to interact with this, they can move it and decide if it's odd or even. And then the last thing I want them to be able to interact with are the tens frames. So I want them to show the number on the tens frames and drag the counters. I need to give them a stack of counters to do that. Easiest way of doing that is to, you can either upload images yourself, and if you want fancy counters, I'm just going to make a whole stack of red counters. So here we go. This time I do want them filled red. And I want to give them a whole stack, because at the moment, if they just drag that one, it's gone. Oh, they're going to be a bit smaller than that. There we go. Let's make them round. Okay. So I'm going to use my shortcuts and Control D to duplicate. I'm going to put them on top of each other. So it looks like there's only one, but each time they're going to be layered on top. So there we go. I'm going to move it and duplicate. Move it, duplicate, duplicate. And because they could essentially fill up 20, I want to make sure I've got at least 20 counters here for them to manipulate. And this for a while. These are just some examples of the things that you could use on an interactive Google slide. Obviously, you could get creative and include all sorts of different things. It just depends what you want your background to be, or your map that you want them to be working on. I think that should be that. Given them enough anyway. Okay, so now we've got an interactive Google slide. I do want them to put in their name, so I might have a text box ready for them to do that. Okay, so that when they go there, it's ready for them to just type in, and you might want to have that already set up in the colour and the size. Okay, text colour. There we are. Let's have it like that. Yeah. So when they type the name, it will be there. The number of the day, obviously, again, same thing. They might be told what that number of the day is, or you might send the slide with the number of day already on it. But let's have it so that actually they can type in that number themselves. So there we go. Let's make it quite big. Let's give it there. All right. So now let's look at what that would look like as an example. So imagine our number of the day is 12. I'm going to put in my name. There we are. And the first step asks me to drag the arrow to show the numbers. So there we are. That's what the children would do. Circle if the number is odd or even, or 12 is even. And then we're going to start dragging those counters across to show the number 12 on the 10's frame. So we're going to fill up all the 10 first. Here we are. Keep going. Keep going. Good practice for them with using keyboard skills as well, or a mouse. There's our 10, and 2 more is 12. Done.